Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the meeting for the preparations of Eid al-Fitr prayers at the Ministry of Muslim Affairs. Cadet nationals in Palestine meeting of the Security Council. Welcome to our newsroom. The technical and tactical center of Humbuli, located within the camp of Sheikh Osman, hosted in the evening of Monday, May 10, a prize-giving ceremony counting for the contest of the reading of the Holy Quran. Indeed, the contest of recitations of the Holy Book was launched at the beginning of the blessed month of Ramadan, bringing together all the regiments that make up the Egyptian Armed Forces. More than 30 candidates, all ranks, participate in this contest, which was supervised and controlled by the jury of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs and Cultures under the aegis of the Minister of Defense in charge of relation with the Parliament, His Excellency Hassan Umar Mohammed Burhan, and in the presence of General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces. This ceremony organized around a collective task to strengthen the cohesion and unity that prevails within the defense and security forces of the country. So the participation of an areas of general officers in the cases Major General Osman Nur Subagle, Chief of the Defense Staff Brigadier General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Commanders of the Republican Guard, the commanders of the Coast Guard, and the Director General of the National Police, major officials of the ADF. Note the presence of the military attaches of defense of Saudi Arabia. As it should be, the ceremony started with some verses from the Holy Quran. Then Sheikh Jamal Usley, chairman of the jury of the Ministry of Muslim Affairs, Culture and Waqf, proclaimed the results of the contest, that this ceremony was an opportunity to award the winners who have distinguished themselves through this competition. Is only the first 7 laureates of each discipline were rewarded for their hard work. As a token of special attention to them, they received gift from the hand of the Minister Hassan Umar Muhammad Burhan, and Harbi Group did not fail to animate this ceremony by religious songs on the occasions of the blessed month of Ramadan, praising the blessing of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In his speech, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, thanked His Excellency Hassan Umar Mohammed Burhan, Minister of Defense in charge of relations with the Parliament, and the entire military delegation for attending this solemn closing ceremony of the Holy Quran. He said the word of our Creator is Allah Azza wa Jalla, who guided all Muslims to bliss. At the end of this period of the blessed month of Ramadan, the Minister of Muslim Affairs, Culture and Waqf Property, Mumin Hassan Barre, chaired today a meeting devoted to the preparations of the site of the prayer of Eid al-Fitr. This meeting brought together representatives of the mayor and public agencies such as EDD, UNIAD, OVD, and ADR, as well as the representative of the National Police. The discussion is focused on the reorganizations of the sites of prayer of Eid al-Fitr to accommodate the faithful and perform this religious duty in good conditions as usual. At the approach of Eid, the ground of the Musalla received for prayers are developed and leveled with the necessary connections to electricity and water, and the installations of this on the sound system, microphone. This concerted actions comes in a context marked by the spread of coronavirus. To this end, the minister insisted on the social distancing respect for biologists, and the wearing of masks. During these holy months of compassion and devotions are combined to reinforce moral values and to multiply gestures of mutual aid and sharing. As every day, the Executive Committee of the People's Rally for Progress, RPP, went to the annex to close distributions to the children. This delegation is led by the Minister of Social Affairs, Ms. Muna Usman Aden, and Ms. Safia Ilmi Jibril, respectively, the National Secretary for Economic and the Party of the National Secretary for Finance, the Minister of Budget, Abdul Karim Aden Shar, Amina Abdi Aden, and Ali Abdi Farah, and other members of the Executive Committee of the party went to several annexes of the RPP. This tower is part of the RPP operations entitled Dress an Orphan. The objective was essentially to provide the necessary help and support on this holiday to the orphaned the children of the new clothes for the feast of Eid al-Fitr. As part of the approach of Eid al-Fitr, the National Agency for Persons with Disability, NPH, has distributed some 300 lots of new clothes to disabled people and children with special needs in the region of Obok. The distribution operation took place in the premises of the Regional Council of Obok and was attended by the authorities of Obok, children with special needs from the city of Obok, and the elderly disabled benefit this year from this noble initiative with the aim of restoring a little cheerfulness during the Muslims' holiday as well as the others. As part of the approach of the Eid al-Fitr, the National Agency for Disabled Persons, NPH, has distributed some 300 lots of new clothes to the elderly disabled people of the region of Dakhel. This distribution operation took place at the headquarters of the Regional Council of Dakhel, so the presence of the President of the Regional Council, Abdurrahman Yunis Are, the technical councils of the Director of NPH, Mahad Ibrahim, and the President of the association is Asad, Mr. Ali Muhammad Ali. The elderly disabled people have benefited this year from this noble initiative in order to give back some cheerfulness during the Muslims' holiday as well as the others. The Minister of Health, His Excellency Muhammad Warsamadiriya, accompanied by his counterpart of the National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Muhammad Mahamoud, and the Prefect of the region of Ali Sabih Musa Aden Migane, as well as many senior officials of his department, moved this Mondays in the locality of Dano, about 10 kilometers from the village of Ali Ade. Indeed, the two ministers proceeded to the official inaugurations of a brand new health center fully equipped to meet the health needs of the populations of Dano and its surrounding. As reminder, the foundation stone of this new health science had been laid 15 October 2020 by Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed. The construction of this new health post is indeed a response to a governmental imperative to ensure better health coverage in our country through a strengthening of the structures of level 1 of health pyramid. This is the strategy emanating from the health policy inspired by the visions of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, to guarantee better access and ensures maximum coverage of the health offered through our nations. In his speech, the Minister of Education, Mustafa Muhammad Mahamoud, indicate that rural development and equity in access to basic services were the foundation of the government's policy. For his part, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training reviewed the effort made by the government to meet the needs of the population of Dano in different areas. The Minister of Health, for his part, urged the local population to take great takers of their health centers for their perpetuations of its medical activity. The Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriyet, delivered speech during this the inauguration ceremony of the new health posts located in the Danon locality in Ali Sabih region. As part of closing the tournament of Ramadan, the municipality of Balbala organized yesterday afternoon Ar-Rahma ceremony to award trophy to the various organizers of Ramadan tournament and the collective iftar to the most active mobilizers during the period of the campaign. The initiative comes from the young organizers of the township of Balbala, which have through this support tournament seek not only to fight against juvenile delinquency and of youth. The ceremony was attended by the president of the municipality, Bashir, and the deputy president of the municipality, Hassan Sanalasi Hassan, and the president of the Djiboutian civil society, Yusuf Hassan Nuhu, and local elected officials of the municipality. At the end of the opening ceremony, the president of the municipality of Balbala, Idris Bashir, in a speech made on the spot, congratulated the organizers of this tournament of Ramadan. Since the new directive of the High Command of the Gendarmerie, which are related to the continuous fight at the extent of the national territory, any forms of criminality, the gendarmes of the judicial unit launched themselves in a race against times to dismantle all the mafia networks. In this perspective, the gendarmes of the PK 12 North Brigade have been on the trails of a gang specialized in extortions that always target vulnerable people. After collecting as much evidence and information as possible, the top of the arrest was given on May 5, 2021 at dawn. These operations result in the arrest of 2 members of these networks as well as the seizures of 24 cell phones of the different brand. Confronted with materials evidence to the 2 suspects have admitted the fact they were accused, and at the end of the investigation they were brought to justice and then imprisoned to the civil prisons of Gabon. And we regret to announce the death of yesterday of Said Gire Darar, born in 1994. The deceased leaves behind him a large family, including his daughter Saruda, employers of the Ministry of Budget. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene in Palestine Security Council's meeting, the Security Council met yesterday at the initiative of Tunisia, Tunis, Oslo, and Beijing, presenting the draft statement calling for the de-escalations, calling on Israel to halt settlement activity, demolitions, and expulsions of Palestinians, including in East Jerusalem, and expressing grave concern over the growing tensions and violence in the occupied West Bank. The diplomat urged all parties to refrain from taking unilateral steps that exacerbate tensions and undermine the viability of the two-state solution, to avoid provocation and to continue to respect the status quo at the holy sites. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.